Hello, welcome to Scrap Time, episode 861. My name is Christine, and on today's episode, I'm showing you the Fancy Pants Designs Trendsetter Collection. Today, I'm showing you some products from the Trendsetter Collection from Fancy Pants Designs, and I want to start by showing you some of the papers just so you can see the colors in that. And this page here, you can see I love the coral and that blue together and then mixed with the light pinks and beiges. And that's sort of the colorway. You can even see it on this piece. So you get the houndstooth, some dots, large stripes, a map. There's vertical stripes, or across diagonal stripes. This little ledger, some chevron, stars, dots. This piece here, then a piece with some vintage images, little tags, numbers, and then a couple solids that you can use with it. So this was the 6x6 pieces, but of course this comes in the 12x12 as well. Then another one of my favorite products from them are these little paper die cuts. I punched out all the little pieces. And so these are great, as you know, I like to just use them for stenciling. So to add some texture and paint. But you could just take this whole piece. I'll just get this red piece of paper here. And you could just put it on, and then you have that texture right over top and add that right into your project if you wanted to do something like that as well. I also love these little bags. There's a really small one and then a little bit bigger one. And they're cute if you have some things you want to add to your projects, little ephemera or stuff. You can put them in the little bags and add them in. Comes in a few of the patterns, so those are really sweet. And then they also have these cute envelope bags. So there's the little one and then a larger one in the different papers as well. So those are really fun, especially if you're doing either like a Project Life type album or a smash book or some sort of daily memory keeping. When you get little ephemera, you can add them in the envelopes. So I'm going to start by showing you a few art journal pages I did. So I have this page here, and I had already had some stuff in the background, and even though I gessoed it, I then just put some paint over top, and I was still getting the lower layers coming through, and I don't mind that because I just find it adds some interesting texture that if I tried to accomplish, I wouldn't. I used a frame. They have a package with a bunch of frames in it, so I used one of the frames here, and I framed my journaling. I took some gesso and just gessoed in underneath so I could write. There's a sheet in the collection, and it has a bunch of different little alphabets. So this is one of the alphabets here, which I think was really great. And so I wrote my crafty day, and I was talking about a crafty day I had. These little tiny banners up here came from a die cut sheet that comes in the 12x12 paper pack collection. And then I just took strips of some of the papers and put them on and added a couple of the stickers. And then here you can see the dots. And that was made using that die cut that I used for the stencil. So now I have this page here. I had just painted on the back. And so these strips here are actually sticker strips. They're 12 inches long. I just cut off the excess. So I just laid those on. And they also have a pack with a bunch of different tags. So I put the tags on and used 2 of them for my journaling. And then there's some really cute little clips. So I took one of the clips and added there. And then here are some more of those dots. And then I used the little chevron stencil there. On this page, I collaged the whole background using pieces of from the 6x6 paper pad. So after I collaged it, I like to do a whitewash over it, and a lot of times I will use paint with water and make a bit of a mess, until I realized that I can just use the Tim Holtz Distress Stain in Picket Fence. So I just pushed this over it all and got my whitewash effect, and I'm going to show you after this the effect it makes. The other thing I loved about the collection is they have these corrugated papers. There's a sheet in the coral as well as the turquoise. And I wanted to just add a bit of white to it. So this time I used the Distress Paint. The Distress Paint is more opaque than the stain. And so I wanted to use that on the corrugation. So I'll show you the difference in a moment. Now I used one of the stickers that came from the sheet and then another one of the alphabets. So I just want to show you, this is the alphabet sheet here. So you see you get the 3 tiny alphabets in the coral. This is like a dark blue and the turquoise. And then you get that little square alphabet I showed you earlier. And then with round, there's 2 little phrases and then some elements and some words up here. So lots of elements on this sheet. I did my journaling, and then down here I just added a few more dots from that stencil I showed you previously. And this was from a crochet hook I bought, and this is about experimenting with new crafts and some different things I've been playing with. So that is that page. So I'm just going to show you, I have this piece here, and the distress thing, you want to shake it. There's a ball inside, so just give me a moment to shake it. Now, the stain has a dauber on it, so what I like to do is just sort of squeeze it out to make sure it's working. And then you just rub it over. Now, as it dries, it's going to, it's more of that color is going to show through. So let me just give it a quick dry now. It's not that thick, so it won't take too long. So you should be able to see that this side here is a little softer, whereas this side here is brighter, bolder where I didn't put it. So you can still see that color through. It just gives you that wash. And so whenever I'm doing a collage where I've put lots of different patterns and colors and that down, I like to do a wash over it, and I find it just helps unify the design. And then this here is the paint. Let me. Now, depending, this is a thin coat, you can still see some of it through, but with the paint, I can just squeeze more color onto it and make it a thick coat where you won't really, you still see it a little because I can go thicker, but let me just dry that. It's not completely dry, but you can get the idea of the difference between the stain. It's really light and it just gives you that little whitewash versus the paint, which is thicker and covers the design more. And so that is the Trendsetter collection from Fancy Pants Designs. Well, that's it for today's episode. Be sure to check out our website at www.scraptime.ca. And on our next episode, I'm showing you the Do Crafts Build-A-Scene dies. So please join us. Thanks for watching Scrap Time.